literally in the back of the car. She's also the operator. She's like Soderbergh, like Steven Soderbergh. She's the operator. So she would sometimes just be holding the camera with the DP, you know, alongside of her. She'd be crunched in the back, or sometimes she would be in the driver's seat. Bless you. She would be in the driver's seat, and it was very creative, where they would, you know, put a camera. Strap a camera to the side of the car, or on the back, or on the front. Sometimes it was just a camera in a van following me, and I'd go, good luck, guys. It was creative thinking, you know, because we didn't have the money for a big rig and a big, you know, system.
Did you have to close down streets?
We did sometimes. And sometimes we just had to drive, and they would just film me driving, and we would hope for a moment that we drive till we got a red light. You know, sometimes we had the money to shut down a street, and sometimes we didn't.
Was there fair warning at all? Did somebody get out there with a bullhorn? The church is coming down the street now.
Warning.
Everybody out of the way. Yes, young lady.
If we could leave this film for a moment, I just wondered what it was like working with Woody Allen in the
It was
what it was like working with Woody Allen, in case you didn't hear the question.
It was a joy. He was. Woody is a tough director in that he requires you to do homework, real homework. You have to show up absolutely prepared, absolutely ready to shoot 8 minutes straight, which is unusual. It's almost a little like theater acting, and thank God I have done theater, and you have to be willing to, you have to know your lines, you have to know your character, you have to know your character so well you can improv, because he does like to sometimes improv. He doesn't like you to stop in the middle of a take. I mean, he's tough, but I like that. It makes you a better actor working for him.
The moment in learning to drive, though, that I think a lot of people may be related to, you got really white-knuckled going over a bridge, and I was wondering, Patricia, in real life, what gives you white knuckles? What's the hardest?
Going over that bridge. You have to realize I was born and raised in the great city of New Orleans, but I've become a New Yorker over the many, many years. I've lived in New York 30 years, and through that period of time, I would say my driving has lapsed. And so the great Sir Ben Kingsley had to trust that I, Patty, would be able to drive well enough to learn to drive, but yet be able to actually drive him through the streets of Manhattan, because there's no tow truck, there's no stunt double. It's me on the streets driving basically Gandhi around New York. So think about it. And so this goes back to how well we know one another at this point. And he, I said, Sir Ben, I really don't drive much anymore, but I'll do my best. And I remember before we went over the bridge, I told Sir Ben how much I adored him, and that I hoped I'd see him on the other side.
So the look of fear on his face wasn't really acting at all. He was actually...
Well, the first time we drove over the bridge, well, we did actually make it across, but the sound guy and the DP and everybody was like, what is that? Something wrong with the wheel? Is something wrong with the engine? But what they realized is that the entire way over the bridge, I was making this sound. Oh. Art and life merging, just wonderful, man.
It's one of the most difficult cities to drive in.
Oh,
clearly.
But it also was it was beautiful in a way that everything in the movie is real, and it was one of the reasons it took us such a long time to get this film made, is that it is a difficult movie to make. It is two people who are not 25 in a small, little, hot, sweaty car. Ooh, sexy. And in Manhattan, and it cannot be faked. We can't be driving around Toronto, and we have to be in Manhattan. But shooting the film, I love New York and all the boroughs, but I really had to drive through Queens and Brooklyn and, Far Rockaway. And I realized how much I do love New York. And my heart is New Orleanian, but part of it is it loves New York.
Let's take it out to you guys. Patricia Clarkson, a very talented actress. I'm sure you've seen a lot of her movies. Who would like to begin the Q&A? I can't see with these lights screaming in my eyes. Can you see, Patricia?
Sort of. I can sort of.
We've got helpers in the audience, though.
Theater. Yeah.
So, do you need a microphone for audience members at all? You're more than welcome to take mine, or I can repeat the question. First question.
Does anybody even have a question? Do you want me just to talk about the Tantric Sex scene? It was crazy. It was, again, life and art. Like, I was not really a driver when I started. I don't know Tantric Sex. So, come on, raise your hand. Hello, Philly. But it was such a wild ride, like literally and figuratively. And the extraordinary actor that I was lucky enough to do that scene with, the incredibly handsome Matt Salinger, who is a lovely, wonderful New York actor, and he showed up, and consummate actor, knew every single thing there was to know about tantric sex. He's married, and I think his wife is very happy.
Yes.
But he showed up, and I just said, Matt, don't tell me anything. I don't know anything about this. Just surprise me. It's why I love being an actor. It's unpredictable, and it is kind of glorious because you just don't know where your day is going to go.